Hey guys, welcome to this video. I've got Brent Daniels in the house, and we're gonna be talking about the 10 biggest reasons why you should quit wholesaling coming up.
For a limited time, you can get a free copy of Jerry Norton's Quickstart Kit with everything you need to flip your first house in 30 days or less. Download it now at myquickstartkit.com.
Hey, if you're new here to the channel, I'm Jerry Norton with Flipping Mastery, and this channel is all about ways to help you make money wholesaling and flipping houses so you can live your dream life. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon to get notified when new videos are released. And Brent, hey, thanks for being here.
Yes!
This is really fun. This is Mr. TTP, Talk to People.
That's right.
And I invited Brent over to the home office, and we are going to be really having a candid conversation. We want to talk directly to you. Brent and I have decided we're going to be a little bit in your face. Hopefully that's okay.
Yep.
Hopefully you're not too offended.
No.
We'll try to keep it nice, but really we want to talk about a lot of reasons why people quit this business. And I asked Brent if he could really think through and come up with a list. Brent came up with 10 reasons or 10 excuses that people make all the time. And so the real intent of this is to talk about these different reasons and for you to do like a mental check, rate yourself. Hey, am I doing that thing? Is that preventing me from really seeing success?
Yeah.
And let's get into it, Brent. So first reason here is too much competition. So I hear this one a lot too, which is, hey, in fact, a lot of times the question is, hey, should I not do my market? There's so much competition. I'm gonna go where the grass is greener, right?
Sure.
So how do you see this question, and why is this something that holds people back, or where people end up quitting the business for this reason of too much competition?
Yeah, I think that what happens is we all want that opportunity where nobody else is at, right? The blue ocean where nobody else is swimming in. We just find this miraculous thing that happens that we can make money with as little effort as possible. But the fact is, here's the actual stats. The fact is 5 to 10% of the real estate market is in distress at all times. It is a conveyor belt of opportunities. There are more houses than there are people like us going out and trying to solve those problems. The 6 to 10% of the market is underserved. They're not coming to a real estate agent. They're not what real estate agents focus on. They don't want to put their house on the market. They're going through either a situation where they have to get rid of a property fast, or the property's in so rough condition, they're either embarrassed, they don't want people to come in, or they have to sell to a cash investor.
Yeah, so these opportunities are there, and what's cool that I love you said is, this is at any given time. So that means
all the time.
That means next month there's another 5 to 10% of distressed sellers, new distressed sellers. Yep. So this opportunity of new buyers, I like to tell people, right now there's somebody distressing their house that's going to become a problem for them, next week or next month, that if you learn how to get in front of them, there's that opportunity again. So is there competition? Yes, guys, there's competition anywhere. The secret ingredient is to learn how to outperform your competition and learn how to carve out that little sliver. Every successful wholesaler, they face competition and they do well anyway.
That's
right?
it.
Okay, let's go to number 2. Number 2 is, I don't know what to say to motivated sellers. Now, this is right up your alley, Brent, but how many people are like, you know what, I just don't get it. I just can't have that conversation, and so I'm out. I'm just gonna leave this business because it's just too tricky, it's too difficult, I'm not natural, or I don't know what to say, I don't have the right scripts, or whatever the reasons are, and then people leave the business. Why is that?
Well, we didn't go to elementary school and junior high and high school and college, and they have a class going, this is how you talk to a motivated seller, right? So it's a little bit awkward.
Yeah.
So the first thing is you have to do it, right? You have to take reps at this. It's something new. But the more that you do it, the more comfortable that you're going to be, the more certain you're going to be. And what you really need to focus on is understanding that there's only 4 things you need to talk to a seller about. Only 4 things, 4 main pillars that you need to talk to a seller about. The condition of the property, their timeline to sell that property, their motivation to sell it, or what is their problem, and what price do they want for it. If you are bringing the conversation back to those 4 pillars, you will win, because that will help pre-qualify and see if they actually have a problem that you can solve.
Yeah.
So if you have those 4, you can mix and match however it is with your personality, the way that you want to ask those questions. When you get certain objections or you get certain responses, there's only a certain amount that people will give you, right? They want too much for the property. They have other people that they're thinking about selling the property to. The timing isn't right now. All of these things, just practice and figure out what response works the best for you. Come up with a couple different responses and you are off and running.
You really just want to get out there and practice. It's amazing. Your 10th conversation is going to be way better than your first conversation. Your 100th conversation is going to be way better. It's going to suck at first. You're going to sound like an idiot. You're going to screw up. It's okay. It's okay. Just the more you do it, the better you get at it. Okay, number 3, spending too much time doing everything but what's most important. So what do you mean by that? Because I have an idea of what I think you mean by that. But what do you mean by that?
You do. I mean, before we get started, we think, oh, you know what? I've got to register. I've got to get a LLC. And then I've got to register that with the Better Business Bureau. And then I got to come up with an awesome logo and business card and website. And I got to be super, super legit so that I feel comfortable going into somebody's house. I'm going to get a polo with a logo. It's going to look amazing. I'm going to do all this. I'm going to get it all set up before I actually start taking action so that I feel good being able to take action and they know that I'm a real professional, right? Yeah. But in reality, you go to somebody's house that's in a distressed situation. They're thinking about their distressed situation, okay? Now, you don't want to go looking all slobby and crazy and not put together, but you don't have to have all these things before you put yourself in front of a motivated seller.
Yeah, I'll use another example that's along those same lines, which is in the analyzing phase. So I see this so often where you get a lead, you've got an address, and now let's spend hours running the numbers.
Oh, yes.
Well, should I budget, $4,000 or $5,000 for a roof? And all these things, and then you're not actually getting to the most important thing, which is like presenting an offer, because I got to analyze everything. I got to run all my numbers and get my calculators out, and that analysis paralysis. And analysis is the kiss of death in this business. And I've seen you, Brent, get a lead, get an address, 30 seconds, a minute, maybe 5 minutes comping, boom, I got my number, here's my offer. Because the more offers you make, the more deals you're gonna do. So when you lock yourself down in that analysis phase, it just really slows down everything.
That's it.
Number 4, spending too much time on a dead lead. And it's a scarcity thing, isn't it? It's like, why are you hanging on to that lead? It's not going anywhere. Why are you? And I think the idea is people think, I don't know if there's going to be another deal around the corner, so I better really try to squeeze everything I can out of this lead. And then you feel like we had another conversation today, so we're getting closer. Now, what's the problem with this?
Scarcity.
Chasing dead leads.
It's a scarcity mindset. And the reason you're hanging on to a lead is because you don't have hundreds of other leads. And that's because you're focusing so much time and efforts on this lead that you're not going out and getting more opportunities. All right, get rid of them, pre-qualify them, get rid of them, move on to the people that will actually do business with you. The best way to do that is what you said. Give them an offer, right?
So it's just coming back to that idea of, just using your time more effectively.
That's true. Yep, that's it.
Okay, awesome. Number 5. Can't do deals unless I have a team. So I see a lot of people and they're like, man, Brent Daniels, he's got a team. He's got people on the phones. He's got virtual assistants. He's got this, he's got that. He's got boots on the ground everywhere. The only way I'm gonna be able to do this is if I have a big team. And so then what they do is they talk themselves out of it. That excuse of I don't have a team means I can't succeed, which means I quit, right? So why is that such an issue? And how do we overcome that issue?
Well, I think the biggest thing that you're dealing with there is oftentimes we feel like we're on an island by ourselves. This is why a lot of partnerships happen, right? A lot of partnerships where you're just doing the same job and you're not really, 1 + 1 should equal 10, not 2. Right? Yeah. Because you get 50%. So what is it? You
gotta do half as many deals to make the same money.
So it's more hanging out and less productivity, right? When we are in action, it's that whole thing, right? It's the momentum. Things in action tend to stay in action. Yeah. You need to just start taking action and be the leader of that team. They're gonna follow you because you went out there and you crushed it.
Okay, let's see. Number 6, can't handle rejection. And we talked a little bit about this, but really the idea here is there's this reluctancy to make that. We're gonna go back to offers because that's the most important thing, right? There's that reluctancy to like make that offer because they might say no, they might tell me I'm an idiot, they might say go play in traffic, go pound sand, worse, scream and yell at you and swear at you, hang up on you. And then what happens is we feel this rejection. It's a reflection on me personally. I'm taking it personally that they said no. And then that happens to me 10 times in a row, 20 times in a row, 50 times in a row. And I start to second guess this whole thing and I'm out. Right? Do you see that happen?
All the time. I mean, it's all the time you're dealing with this whole thing where people need to like me. I need to be liked. I don't want to call somebody because I don't like getting calls, right? But it's all putting it internal. You're all thinking about yourself selfishly. You're not thinking about that woman or that guy or that person that just inherited a house or has a property that just burnt down or has a piece of land that they're paying property taxes or going to foreclose on a property or all these other things. You're not thinking about solving the problem in the community. You're thinking about what if a stranger rejects me. We need to put ourselves in a position to be rejected so that when we find the people that really, really understand and feel our energy and really vibe with us and really understand that we're there to help, work with us, that's why it makes it so much better, because we went through all the other things to find that one seller that's willing to work with us. And that's like, euphoric.
When you have confidence in your formula, when you have confidence in your numbers, and when you have confidence in how you comp a property and why you're making that number, then you're the one that's right. They're the ones that are wrong. They're asking too much, not you're asking too low. Your number is where it's supposed to be. That is a deal. Okay, let's see number 7, unable to self-motivate. Now you talked a little bit about this, but I mean, the reality is there's good days, there's bad days, there's up days, there's down days, and welcome to being an entrepreneur. I mean, if you can't hack that, and if you can't get yourself out of bed in the morning, you really have no business doing this, because this business you'll look in the mirror. There's a greatest self-reflection than any other business, I think, because you have to self-motivate to do this business.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, people won't be watching this or won't be considering this if they didn't have that pilot light inside them that says, I don't want to work a 9 to 5. I don't want to make my boss rich. I want to be able to have financial freedom. I want to have opportunities that come along with that. I want to be an example to my family and my friends and whatever of what a successful business person could be like, and somebody that has freedom of schedule, right? But you have to get going. You have to get going. You have to get started. And it doesn't come, it's always wonderful to put in really good stuff. That's why I love videos like this. That's why I love podcasts. That's why I love Audible. That's why I love books. That's why I love not turning on any media or social media in the mornings to just start off right and really just taking everything off your plate, focusing on what you got to do. And what you got to do is you got to find a motivated seller today that is going to have a conversation with you. That's it. It's as simple as that. So the motivation to be able to do that is cut out all the distractions. The win is not necessarily closing the deal. That's the big win, but it all adds up to the small wins add up.
I think a great idea that's really helped me quite a bit is that this idea of habit stacking. I read a book, Atomic Habits, and he talks about, put your running shoes on the floor when you get out of the bed, or put your vitamins where you brush your teeth so then you'll remember, right? Stack those things. So think of ways that you can really apply yourself in this business that's going to set you up for the small wins stacked on top of each other.
Just take the action.
Yeah, love it. Okay, number 8, not enough time. Not enough time, and the reality is for most people starting out, they've got a job, they've got family, they've got church, other commitments. And then they're trying to do wholesaling as a side gig on the side. It's how I started. I part-timed it. When I first got started, it was mornings and nights and my lunch break and weekends. It was brutal, trying to get the business going. But then a lot of people say, well, I don't have the time, so I'm out. And they quit.
What it really comes down to, and this is true for everybody, including myself, is the transitions. Right? Transitioning from your 9 to 5, you have a lunch break, to all of a sudden taking that hat off, putting on your real estate investor hat and taking action. Getting off work and putting on that investor hat and taking action. So the transitions are so important. There is opportunity there. It just depends on how long we want to work in our job before this business starts getting the momentum to cover the bills and to really just allow us the freedom to do this full time.
Okay, so number 9, we're almost done, guys. Number 9, need more education before I can start. Now, you and I are both really big on education, obviously, so we see the value in that. And we're preaching to the choir a little bit because whoever's watching this is watching an educational video. But how do people use I need more education as a crutch and then therefore quit the business because they tell themselves, well, I just don't have enough information or enough education to be successful?
Well, I think it comes down to, and we kind of touched on it before, but I call it the 3 Ps, and you touched on it before. It's paralysis by analysis, it's perfectionism, and it is procrastination. It is a lot easier to stay in study mode than action mode, right? It's
I'm still learning.
And it makes you feel like you're doing something, like you're taking steps forward, you're getting that. But we know the best education is in front of a seller. Right? The best education is on an appointment, on a phone call, pre-qualifying, doing all these things, opening up escrow for the first time. How scary is that? And so I think it's those 3 things.
So along those lines, there's a comment that I see quite frequently on the YouTube channel, and it is, I love your videos, I watch all your videos, I've seen hundreds of your videos, and I'm almost ready to get started.
That's right.
And there's this idea that at some point I'll know so much that when I start, I'll skip all the mistakes, all the learning curve, and I'll just start right into instant success.
Right, perfection.
Okay, and the last one, number 10, is I need money for marketing before I can get started. And I see this as a huge hindrance. People are like, I don't have earnest money, I don't have marketing to buy the right tools, I can't buy leads, I can't do all of these things. And so if I don't have money, then I can't get started. It takes money to make money. Everybody hears that kind of analogy. And then they talk themselves out of doing this business because they don't have seed capital or all this money saved up to put into the marketing. Why is that such a big mistake, and how do we overcome that? How can people overcome that and still get started? Why is that so wrong?
Well, I'll tell you about my first deal ever, right? Totally broke. I had a judgment that as a young man, I decided to get an office lease for a big office lease in the beginning of 2008. The middle and end of 2008, the economic world collapsed.
I remember.
Right? So if you don't pay an office lease, they sue you. So I got sued as a young man. And so I had no money. So I was like, well, I know that people want to buy in this area of town. So I'm going to just go to the door and see if people would sell their properties. So I'd knock on doors and knock on doors and knock on doors. And finally, at the end of the street, I knocked on the door. A gal answers the door. We have a nice conversation. I say, I'm just wanting to see if you would consider a cash offer on your property. She said, no, I don't, but I am the caretaker for the house 4 houses down. It's empty. She lives in New York. She's 80-something years old. Let me call her and see if I can give you her number. And I said, great. And so she came out with a slip of paper. I called her before I even got to my car because I knew if I got to my car, I wasn't going to call her. Or if I got to the office, something was going to happen. I felt like I had something there. And so I called her on the way there. I talked to her. We were able to put that deal together. I was able to make my first $12,000 deal. And I spent nothing. I spent nothing.
No marketing.
No marketing dollars. Yeah. You can trade your skills and your time and your ability to communicate with people for the money that you need up front. You can get that money from using your efforts and time and energy up front to get those opportunities. And now you're starting to build up that income. You're starting to get that heavy bank account that you need to be able to do this business full time, or to be able to expand your business.
The worst thing I've seen is someone brand new in the business drop $20,000 on marketing, and then they got all these leads. They don't know how to close them. They don't know what they're doing, and it's just wasting money.
Well, and also it's the difference between being proactive and being reactive.
So don't let no marketing budget or no money stop you. In fact, I'll put a link in the description of a video where I put out multiple different ways to get a deal in the next 30 days, even if you're dead broke, right? There's lots of different ways you can get free leads that don't cost you anything if you're willing to be proactive, like Brent said, and just go get them, go be proactive and call them and contact them and find them without having to spend all this money on marketing. All right, those were the 10 things. I do have one question, Brent, for people that are still watching this long video.
Yes.
What's your bench press up to these days?
Not enough.
We love you guys. Go out there and make it happen. Don't make these excuses. You can do this. We believe in you, and you can do this. See you later.